Welcome to the Refusion Podcast, where we transform patient care.
Welcome back to another episode of the Refusion Podcast. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm John.
Today we're covering which healthcare review metrics matter most. So, picture this. You're desperately trying to find a new specialist online, right?
Yeah, we've all been there.
Exactly. And you narrow it down to two options. Dr. A has this, flawless 4.9 star rating, but only 25 reviews.
Okay.
But then Dr. B has a slightly lower 4.5 star rating, but they have over 1,000 reviews. So who do you actually call? Today, we are doing a deep dive into a stack of research, primarily the Refusion 2026 Healthcare Behavioral Study, to unpack exactly how patients make that split-second decision.
Right. And that scenario you just gave, that's the absolute crux of this Refusion study. They surveyed 647 patients, and the data shows something pretty fascinating about human psychology.
Oh, yeah. What did they find?
Yeah, so a massive 56.8% of patients said they would actually choose Dr. B, the one with the 4.5 rating and 1,050 reviews.
Wait, really? That kind of flies in the face of logic, doesn't it? Because you'd think perfection would just automatically win.
You would think so, yeah.
But, if I compare this to my own online shopping habits, a handful of flawless 5-star reviews almost makes me, suspicious.
Right, like it's fake or manipulated.
Exactly. It feels curated, like some polished marketing campaign. But 1,000 slightly imperfect reviews, that feels like authentic, undeniable evidence of how a clinic actually operates day in and day out.
That's spot on. That's the exact psychological mechanism at play here. And when we look at the insights from various marketing specialists, a clear theme emerges around this idea of pattern recognition. Like Francisco Ortiz from ValidPaw makes a really great point.
What's his take on it?
He says that once you hit hundreds of reviews, it just creates this mountain of evidence that the human brain simply accepts as truth.
That makes total sense. But it's not just about human psychology, though, is it? It's also about algorithms.
Well, definitely.
Because Madeline Jack at Blink Agency points out that sheer review volume is what boosts your local search visibility in the very first place.
Right. You have to be seen first.
Exactly. And Carrie Anderson at Rank & Co. builds on that, noting that volume immediately solidifies trust the literal second your practice appears on the patient's screen.
So volume is obviously critical, but it's really not the whole story. If we look at insights from Stephen Toromino at CCA Strategic Media, James Weiss from Big Drop Inc., and Andrzej Kuleza at Zeus Detox and Rehab, they actually present a pretty compelling counterargument.
Okay, so what's their counterargument?
Well, they argue that freshness is the ultimate tiebreaker. A glowing review from 2022 doesn't really reassure a patient about who is answering the phones or, delivering care today.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that completely tracks. A clinic could be under entirely different management by now.
Exactly. Patients need proof that your high-quality care still exists right now in the present moment.
So how does a provider actually prove they are still engaged today? How do they show that?
By responding. Dr. Parth Patel at iCore and Elijah Fernandez at Cerevity both heavily advocate for the power of provider responses. Elijah explains that a response just shows profound empathy.
Right, because when a prospective patient sees a doctor taking the time to kindly address a stranger's concern online, they instinctively project that same level of care onto their own future visit.
Precisely. And there is actually hard data on how effective that empathy really is. Caleb Johnstone at PaperSac found that practices responding to 80% or more of their reviews within 48 hours saw a 34% increase in patient inquiries.
Wait, 34%? That is a massive jump just for hitting reply.
It really is.
But, to play devil's advocate for a second, what about patient privacy? What about HIPAA?
Oh, well, you can absolutely demonstrate empathy without violating HIPAA. It's simply about acknowledging the feedback professionally and just offering a way to take the conversation offline safely.
Okay, let me push back on this entire system, though. We are telling healthcare providers they need a high-star rating, thousands of reviews, they all need to be fresh, and they have to reply to everything within 48 hours.
I know, it sounds like a lot.
Isn't that just an impossible standard for a busy practice?
It definitely sounds impossible if you treat them as, isolated chores.
Yeah.
But Josiah Roche at JRR Marketing and Christy Tse from Uncover Mental Health Counseling offer a really helpful framework.
What's their framework?
They emphasize that star ratings are just the crucial first filter, especially for sensitive medical or mental health services. It's really a layered ecosystem.
Okay, I see. So the star rating gets you past the initial filter.
Right. And then the sheer volume builds confidence. The recency proves your consistency over time. And then your responses show the human empathy behind the clinical code.
Which perfectly explains why a platform like Repugen is so insanely valuable for practices, because they act as that complete system.
Yeah, exactly.
Repugen automates review generation to build that massive volume we just talked about. And they use tools like CommentWiz for sentiment analysis and ReplyWise, which generates AI-driven, completely HIPAA-compliant replies.
Yeah, it really takes the heavy lifting out of managing that layered trust-building machine, which then frees up your staff to actually focus on patient care.
So true. And if you want to streamline this for your own organization, we highly encourage you to visit Repugen's website and book a free demo.
Highly recommend checking it out.
Well, to wrap up our deep dive today, we want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. If a prospective patient judged your entire practice based only on your single most recent review, would they book an appointment or keep scrolling?
Thanks for listening to the Repugen Podcast, your path to better healthcare.